Hey, this is Marilyn Gigliotti.
Hey, this is Brian O'Halloran.
Hey, everybody. My name is Scott Schiaffo, actor best known as the Chulies Gum Guy from the film Clerks.
And welcome to Clerks Minute.
You're listening to Clerks Minute.
And I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Welcome back to Clerks Minute, the show where we break down the 1994 Kevin Smith classic, one Randal is very protective minute at a time. I'm Blake.
I'm Kyle.
And on the line, we have a special guest, and this is pretty cool for me, from the fourth cast, Daniel Barry. Dan, how you doing?
Hey, Blake. Hey, Kyle. Thank you so much for having me on. It's an honor. I love what you guys are doing with the show. One of the greatest all-time flicks, and it deserves all the attention you guys are giving it. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on. And for those who don't know, the Fourth Cast is one of the biggest Star Wars podcasts around. And I'm glad you guys brought it back, because I was very excited when the Fourth Cast came back. I'm just being honest.
Yes, we were as well. It was quite a thing to fall into our lap. My partner, Ryan Donahoe, he works his butt off on the show. And we did a Star Wars podcast together for about 3 years. And we were in touch with those guys over at theforce.net. And somehow Ryan was able to convince them to give us a shot with it. And so far, we've been really lucky to have that show. And we're just so thankful for the support. So thank you so much, Blake.
No problem. No problem at all. Like I said, when I was I'm a random chatter Patreon subscriber. So I heard the Force Cast is back. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I was very confused. I'm like, wait, what's going on? So I jumped back over. I'm like, oh shit, the Force Cast is back. So I literally downloaded like the 3 episodes I missed and then been listening ever since. So really fun. Really fun for me. So
yeah.
All right, let's get into where we are. We are in minute number 72. And what's fun for me is I'm watching a couple on the screen here that actually eventually got married. And these two people, Jeff Anderson and Lisa Mooner, they actually did get engaged. And it's weird to watch them. Yeah. What's funny, on the commentary track, I was waiting to bring this up. Kevin brings up this says, so Lisa here, ironically, even wound up being engaged to Jeff, who plays Randal. By the time that this comes out, no, they won't be married yet, but they'll be on their way to the altar. They got married in 98, but they got divorced in 99.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's right off the commentary.
Was this because she had sex with the Ferris wheel?
Oh, jeez. We're talking about Lisa, not Caitlin.
I'm sorry. I just can't keep... It's just... They actually had her in the cartoon and they're making out or having sex with the Ferris wheel, and how can you not bring that up?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it gives a lot of depth to the moment where he actually watches her as she walks away, checking it out. I always love that little choice by Jeff Anderson.
That is funny. By the way, so I'm watching. I just have the screen pause, and we like looking at the background. This is something I didn't even have in my notes. I just noticed this just now. I apparently, when Randal watches porn, he eats Chinese food, drink Yoo-hoo, and there's an open box of Apple Jacks sitting next to the TV as well.
Wasn't the slogan for Apple Jacks, we eat what we like?
Yeah. Oh.
There you go. That's it right there. I've just figured it out. I cracked the code. Call up Kev Smith. We figured it out.
That's fantastic.
And that's what Dante's hoping to do later.
Yeah, I just like pointing out this stuff because I just realized we're by the phone from earlier too. So that apparently they moved the TV right where the phone was. That's pretty much where the TV's set up in here now.
So, boys, what's the over/under on that that empty bottle of Yoo-hoo actually belonging to Kevin Smith?
Or Scott. It could be Scott Mosers. It could be Scott Mosers for all we know.
Don't throw it away. It could be set dressing.
So true. So true. Such a valid point. Well, everything else seems to be like it's just background. Everything's in the background somewhere. Because all of a sudden, because I know we were joking earlier in the movie that like Walt Flanagan and Scott Moser in this movie like 5 times, 6 times each, just randomly in scenes for no real apparent reason. I think we're actually almost done with the Walt and Scott cameos. Actually, now for the rest of the movie, I think we're done. Oh no, wait. There's one more that we haven't gotten to yet, but it's in the script for later. So we'll get to that. We'll get there. Anyway, back to the actual scene. I have the script up right in front of me to make sure we don't miss anything. So Randal pretty much wants to know, how do you think she's going to maintain this relationship? And her response was a woman's intuition. What? You're not going to be a whore because of women's intuition? Really? Is that what we're doing here?
So, where was this before?
Apparently she was too young for, I don't know, maybe she thinks she's older and is going to break up her engagement because she's more mature?
Yeah,
she's very... That's what always struck me about it, with Allison's character, is that she's so nonchalant about this arranged marriage. It's almost as if, I don't know, she always treated it so casually in the screenplay for me. I just was always kind of like taken aback by that.
It's weird. You're right. It's like it's just a marriage. My mother just likes talking about it, and now I'm just gonna break it off, and we're gonna get back together, and I'll probably cheat on you later, like always. That's
She's a
usually how it works.
sociopath.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's a perfect way of putting it, Kyle. But anyway, Randal pretty much. I do like the line, a very funny line, that Randal goes and says, "We have one thing in common. We both like to eat Chinese." That made me laugh. That was ridiculously funny for me. But so Randal, apparently Dante went home to change, which we know how long that takes for him to get home and back. So how long has he been gone at this point?
I have no clue.
I mean, this is the second minute that they're talking. Yeah. So what has he been? How long has Randal been sitting here watching this porn? That's what I want to know. How has he been sitting here?
Well, how long is the standard porn full-length feature film? It's not as long as, say, Return of the Jedi.
Well, that's a good point. I will have to.
I mean, I would know.
Yeah, you would know. Yeah. Well, I can guarantee you it's not as long as Last Jedi either. So.
4.5 hours.
Well, what's funny is Last Jedi for me was long, but you're talking to someone who watches 4-hour wrestling shows, so you gotta get used to lengthy programs.
And who also sat, I believe, for the Return of the King.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. No, that's not the longest. That's not the worst. The worst for me was watching the second one. What's the second one? Two Towers?
Yeah.
That was a long fucking movie. That was a long movie. That one hurt.
Nothing will ever compare to Bicentennial Man. Rest in peace, Robin Williams.
I liked Bicentennial Man, though.
My buddy, who was my ride for that theater trip, walked out like 2.5 hours into it, and I think there was like still an hour and a half left or something.
Oh, jeez. That is ridiculously long.
I never got to finish it.
Okay, so...
Anyways, we're getting way off track. My bad.
That's fine, actually, because while you were stalling, while we were talking about that, I was actually looking this up, and apparently I cannot find the answer to the question, how long is a typical porn film? But apparently, it takes 2 days to film a porn. Mm-hmm. According to this.
Well, he's obviously pretty liberal in his viewing habits. I mean, we're talking about hermaphrodite porn. That's pretty out there. Not for me to judge, but,
That's pretty out there. It's one of those things where I know I don't watch, okay, I'm just to be honest here, I don't watch porn now. Happily married, don't watch porn anymore now. But when I did, and I went to the porn sites, the most on the you porn pages are like 45 minutes, an hour max. Like that's the max I've ever seen on internet. So if we're talking like that, then Dante's been gone for like an hour at this point.
We finally got there.
There you go. We went all the way back around to figure that one out.
Or maybe he got home a while ago and is rubbing one off before coming back.
What is he trying to do? Last longer later?
What is it? Like a double McGum?
I actually heard, and this is not a joke. It's the fact that I know this scares the crap out of me. But I used to. You remember Love Lines? Remember the Love Lines? In New York, there was a competing show called Love Phones. And I did used to listen to that one at night once in a while when like Joe Benigno was on vacation. I jump over to the main station and there's Love Phones on. And there was actually someone that called in and asked the question, if I jerk off, will I last longer later? And they were honestly said no. That was the answer. Straight up no, and I hung up on him. I hung up on the guy. I was like, what the fuck?
And then there
That's
was
a short answer.
Sorry, and then there was a third show called Line Phones.
Yeah, someone in New York probably laughing at the fact that I just referenced Love Phones, a show that I guarantee was not a national show that no one probably remembers at all. But yeah, I listen to a lot of talk radio, so just throwing that out there.
So,
Anywho.
now, have you guys discussed Caitlin Breed's wardrobe when she comes back?
No,
Because it's very
the first time
90s, but it's
seeing
also very sexy, I think.
It's an interesting outfit here. I was more transfixed by the tie belt combination on the overalls. I was more transfixed on that than anything else. But no, that's a very good point. It is a very good outfit. It's very almost like schoolgirlish in a way.
It looks like she came from her job as a TGI Fridays waitress.
There's not enough flair, though.
Nah.
No, very true.
No, the tie makes up for the flair.
I also just realized, boys, that I earlier referred to Caitlin as Allison, so strike one.
It's all good. You know what? That's not even the worst mistake we ever had on this show. Did you happen to hear our episode on Christmas with Jason Powell when we had him on Star Wars?
No,
Week?
I missed it.
Yeah, go back to that, and Jason's going to kill me for telling someone that runs the Star Wars website to go back and listen to this episode. He's going to kill me. When we were talking about Star Wars, and we brought up, it was a conversation between Empire and Return of the Jedi, and he goes and says, instead of saying carbonite, he said kryptonite.
Freudian slip.
And he says this, and then he corrects himself, and I kept it in the edit because it made me laugh so hard I kept it in the edit. He emails me the day after Christmas. He's like, I still can't believe I messed that up.
That's hilarious.
He was so mad at himself for that one.
So the Bree girls are predestined for tragedy, and it's crazy. I feel bad for their parents.
True. Very, very true. I don't know. It's weird because we're watching here, and with Caitlin, looking at her, I just don't trust her. And maybe it's because of all the stuff we hear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust her, at all. And it's the fact that I grew up with girls like that in Jersey. That might be a point for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had two friends, actually, that were kind of the whores of our group. And we always joked about it. One of them, actually, was, I'm not going to drop names here. I'm not going to drop her name. I don't know if she listens or not. She might, because she still tries to talk to me now and then. But I used to hang out at her house and watch pay-per-views with her brother and her father, her stepfather. And every so often, I'd be hanging out watching the show, and she'd walk out of her room in a bathrobe with another guy walking out behind her.
No.
This happened on 5 different occasions over a 3-year span.
Wow.
Okay then.
Cash or charge?
Wouldn't go that far, but I know that she had a black light in her room. I know that for a fact.
Walls of that room.
That's cool.
Walls of that room must have looked like a Rorschach test.
Oh no!
Oh my god. So anyway, let's move on.
What do you see? A duck handcuffing a naked lady?
Wait, hold on a second. What was that guy? We all talked over you.
Sorry. Yeah. What do you see? A duck handcuffing a naked lady?
What the fuck?
That's
a
odd.
horse theft test or a horse theft test? Anyway, there's Practical Jokers. Get that joke.
Test. There we go.
He gets that joke. Practical Jokers fans get that joke. All right. Anyway, by the way, I saw on your profile you listen to Tell 'em Steve, Dave?
A big TSD fan, yeah, from day one.
Okay, I was just like, oh wait a minute, I had to bring that up because I brought up the Jokers. So I was like, if you're laughing at a Joker's joke, you have to be a TSD fan.
Yep, exactly. That's how I wrote my wife into listening to TSD, and we actually went and saw Brian here a couple years ago. He did a comic night, him and Kevin, at our local comedy club, and she fell in love with him that night. So
was that a Y-Bri show?
It was a Y-Bri, yeah.
Yes, I know my Smodcast history.
I know you do, sir.
This whole movie would not have happened if he had just called it his fellow employee. And you want to know who his fellow employee is?
Yep.
Larry!
Larry! Oh, Larry.
That's a good tie-in.
That was good. Very nice. Very nicely done.
Thank you.
Well, boys, I got to tell you, I've been about this minute a lot this week. And I kept thinking of a lot of different what-ifs for this point in the film. What if... First off, let me pose this first what-if. to you? What if Allison had